Hi everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I'm a certified nutritionist and gut health specialist, and I love helping people to heal their chronic gut issues at the root using more natural methods like ancestral nutrition and then other holistic health principles as well. In today's video, I'm actually going to be talking more about ancestral nutrition. I'm going to go over the 11 principles of the Weston A Price Diet, also called the Wise Tradition Diet or an ancestral diet. And then I'm going to be talking about how this diet is what allowed me to permanently heal my chronic gut issues. So really, this is an excellent diet. I'm going to be talking more specifically about what the Weston A Price Foundation recommends, their 11 principles, but this is exactly what an ancestral diet is that I talk about all the time. This is where I learned about it. I learned about it from Weston A Price and now the Weston A Price Foundation. So this is an amazing diet. I'm going to be going over these 11 principles, and then with each one, I'm going to tell you why that principle is so beneficial to healing your gut. This is the same kind of diet that I use with my clients to help them heal their chronic gut issues, whether it's constipation, diarrhea, bloating, food sensitivities, leaky gut, IBS, SIBO, anything like that. This is an amazing diet for. So yeah, I'm gonna get right into it. Oh, also I wanna note, this is also just a great diet. If you stumbled across this and you don't have gut issues, this is still an awesome diet for you. This is basically just how our ancestors have eaten for a very, very long time, for hundreds of thousands of years, and really thrived on. So many diseases and health issues have come from adopting a more modern diet with seed oils and refined flour and refined sugar and all these kinds of things. So it's an amazing, nourishing diet. It's excellent if you are an athlete for sports performance. I have noticed it helps me with my weightlifting a lot. It is excellent for preparing your body for pregnancy. It's excellent for pregnancy. There's a few tweaks to make of avoiding a few foods, but other than that, it's awesome for that. It's excellent for children. It's just an amazing diet all around. So let's get into the principles. Number one is avoid all refined and denatured foods. Pretty straightforward, foods that come in boxes like crackers and cereals and things like that. In general, you want to avoid power bars, even like protein powders and things like that isn't ideal. If you want to use a little bit, that's okay, but ideally you want to really have food in their whole form. You can cook them, you can ferment them, you can, turn them into delicious meals, but we just want to avoid that excess processing because a lot of these foods are just really low in nutrients. They're often called like empty calorie foods. Like potato chips are not going to be providing you with a lot of nourishment, but they're very high calorie. So it's an empty calorie food. We want not empty calorie foods. We want nutrient rich foods. So that's going to be one issue. A lot of times there is like chemicals in these foods. There's a lot of seed oils in foods that you find in, that are prepackaged and just processed more. So there's going to be more chemicals. Sometimes there's glyphosate if it's grains that aren't organic. So there's a lot of things you want to avoid there. And they also tend to be high in anti-nutrients too, because a lot of these tend to be grain-based and they're not usually properly prepared. So they tend to be high in anti-nutrients. So these anti-nutrients and then the chemicals that can be in these are all very gut harming. They just do a lot of damage to your gut. I won't get into all the details here, but yeah, that's going to be harmful. And then because they're often low in nutrients, you're not going to get the nutrients you need to heal and have a well-functioning digestive system. So principle 2 is include animal foods. So nose to tail animal foods, muscle meat, you want bones, you want any kind of meat you can get your hand on, organ meats. Like you really want to eat as many different kinds as possible. And then other animal foods, eggs, dairy, shellfish, seafood, all of that is amazing. They're really nutrient dense. Got so many nutrients in. The nutrients are in the right form. They're really, really easy for our body to absorb and use. So we end up actually absorbing and utilizing so much of the nutrients out of animal foods, where with plant foods, sometimes we end up just excreting a lot of the nutrients in the stools because our body never broke it down enough, or it's in the wrong form and it has to be converted, and it just doesn't work quite as well. So we want lots of animal foods. They're very, very easy on the gut. They don't have anything in them that's going to harm your gut. They're really just going to heal it, and they're super nutrient dense. I said that a million times, but it's just so true. So the third one, you want to emphasize nutrient dense foods. Oh my God, I've said that a million times, but it's very, very important. So that's going to be foods like organ meats, animal fats, eggs, raw dairy, shellfish, fish liver oils like cod liver oil, and then fish eggs, so like salmon roe or caviar. So these are incredibly, incredibly nutrient dense. They really help you get the things you need. They have, let's see, a lot of these, they're high in vitamin A, they're high in omega-3, they're high in choline, they're high in so many things. So you really want to base your diet around animal foods and make sure you're really including these specific nutrient dense animal foods so that you get all your nutrients in. You need nutrients to make stomach acid, you need nutrients to make digestive enzymes, to make bile, you need nutrients to repair damage in your gut, you need vitamin A to repair your gut lining, you need saturated fat to repair your gut lining, you know. So you really need these to be able to heal and make your digestive system work really well again. So then that brings me to the fourth principle, which is to eat some animal food raw, but cook most plant foods. So this is going to help you decrease anti-nutrients by cooking those plant foods. That's going to really help break things down like phytic acid and other things like that. Well, soaking and sprouting will really help with that. But, you know, with plants like veggies, it's going to be a lot easier to digest if they're actually cooked. And then with animal foods, a few of them raw, like raw milk in particular, is going to be a little bit more nutritious and it's going to be better for your microbiome. It's going to be easier to digest. And then with eggs, if your yolk is runnier, it's going to be a little bit more nutritious than if you cooked it all the way through. It's still excellent to consume egg yolks that are cooked all the way through, but it's a little bit better if they're raw. So if you include some raw animal foods, you can get a little more nutrients. If you make sure you really cook most of your plant foods, you'll minimize those anti-nutrients. Okay, the fifth principle is to enjoy lacto-fermented condiments and beverages. So this will really, really help you to rebalance your microbiome by introducing lots of great beneficial microbes, beneficial bacteria to your gut microbiome. This will help to reverse bloating, reduce gas, and really help normalize your stools as well. So this is an amazing principle. Principle 6 is to prepare seeds, grains, and nuts properly to minimize anti-nutrients and enhance digestibility. I've been talking about this a little bit already, but the seeds, nuts, legumes, and grains are going to be the foods that are the highest in anti-nutrients like lectins and phytic acid and other things like that. So it's really important that you either soak them, sprout them, or ferment them first. With nuts, because I don't eat a lot of nuts, I'll just toast them sometimes and that helps too. Soaking and sprouting is a little bit better, but toasting is definitely better than nothing, and it tastes really good. So that's going to be super important. Anti-nutrients can just really wreak havoc on your gut lining. They can cause leaky gut. Lectins in particular are notorious for causing leaky gut, and they just make it so you actually can't get the nutrients out of your food so much. They lead to a lot of leftover waste, and if you have a lot of excess undigested food going into your intestines, if you have gut dysbiosis and your microbiome is off, you're just going to ferment all of that waste and you're going to get really gassy, really bloated, and you're probably going to feel a lot of pressure in your abdomen. So we don't want to make this harder than it has to be. If you're healing your gut, you don't want to add these foods that are really hard to digest. We want to start with the easy foods because it's just going to make it easier to heal. So also, if you want to know more about anti-nutrients, I have a whole video where I go in depth about anti-nutrients, so I'll link that one up above. Okay, principle number 7, enjoy saturated fats and avoid industrial seed oils. So very, very important. Seed oils are very, very inflammatory. They cause a lot of inflammation. They can lead to cardiovascular disease and so many issues. I have a whole video on that, so I'll link that one up above if you want to learn all about seed oils. They're so important to avoid. That's going to be things like canola oil, cottonseed oil, corn oil. So there's 3 that start with a C. There's also 3 that start with an S. So sunflower oil, safflower oil, and soy oil. Just the generic vegetable oil is going to be another one, and really anything made from seeds is essentially going to be a seed oil. So those are the things that you really want to avoid, and instead cook with saturated fat. It is so much healthier for you. So that's going to be butter, lard, tallow, anything like that. You know, you can use coconut oil too. Those are going to be the healthiest fats to consume. Okay, so let's see. Principle 8. Consume animal foods from the land and the sea to balance omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. If you don't know already, a lot of people get a lot of omega-6 and not very much omega-3. So we want to bring that ratio a little bit more balanced by consuming more omega-3 rich foods. So that's going to be a lot of seafood. Grass-fed animals in general are going to have more omega-3 in them too. So if you get grass-fed meat, milk from grass-fed cows, that's going to have more omega-3 too. But it's really great if you can get some seafood in. So, or fish in general, because salmon is high in omega-3 too, even though it's not out in the sea. So any kind of seafood that you enjoy is going to be great. It's rich in a lot of other nutrients too. And omega-3 is very anti-inflammatory, so it can help if you have gut inflammation, and then you're just getting more nutrients to balance out your whole nutrient intake. It just balances things out better, so you have everything you need. Okay, principle 9, use unrefined salt liberally. A lot of people think salt is bad for you, and salt is not bad for you. Salt is essential. You need sodium to make stomach acid so that you can actually break down and digest your food. You need sodium for nerves, for your nerves to, my God, I'm blanking on it, but basically for your nervous system to function. You need sodium for your muscles to contract and relax and all of that kind of stuff. It's so important. The problem is that a lot of refined salt that has been refined down to pure sodium chloride does not act the same in your body as these mineral salts that are more pure and haven't been refined as much. So you really want a good one. Redmond's Real Salt is a really great one. I like it because it's a little bit more affordable, but it's a really good quality salt. I also like Celtic sea salts. There's one like Selena Natural, something like that. It comes in a blue package that is the most delicious salt I've ever had in my life. It's a little more expensive, so I don't buy it as often, but it is so good. So you really want a salt that's going to have a lot of minerals still in it, and it should clump together when it is moist out or it rains. If you know that one, I always forget the name, I think it's like Morton's with the little girl with the umbrella on it. They had a slogan that was, when it rains, it pours. So it was when it rains outside and it's more humid, their salt still pours. It doesn't clump together. The reason for that is they coat it in some kind of chemical to prevent it from clumping together. So if your salt is clumping, that is actually a good sign that you don't have chemical coated salt. So you really want to get a good quality salt. Once you have your good quality salt, just listen to your taste buds. They're really smart. They will tell you how much salt to eat. If something tastes like that needs salt, add salt. And if it's too salty, then that's too much for you. So it's pretty easy here. And I mentioned, you need sodium for a lot of things in your body. One of the things you need it for is to make stomach acid, which is very, very relevant to healing your gut and making sure you're digesting food properly. Okay, so then, and that prevents acid reflux. If you deal with acid reflux, definitely salt your food enough. That will help you. Okay, so the 10th principle is include gelatinous bone broth in soups, stews, gravies, and sauces. And I will add, you can just drink it too. So this is going to be so healing for your gut lining. You really need the collagen. People talk about it all the time, but it's so important. You need the collagen to heal and seal your gut lining. Bone broth is so nourishing for so many reasons. It's good for your joints, it's good for your hair, for your skin, for your nails, for your muscles. It's good for connective tissue. It's good for injury recovery. It decreases inflammation. It even helps you to digest your food better, and it can even help you to normalize your stools. So it has a million reasons why you should consume it. It also helps to balance out the amino acid profile that you're getting from your food. If you just get that from muscle meat, you can actually get a little bit higher in some of these amino acids that can be a little inflammatory in excess, but there's a lot of very anti-inflammatory amino acids in the bone broth and all of these collagen-rich foods that will really help to balance that out. So it's so important. This is something our ancestors have done for a long time, consume nose to tail, and really make that great bone broth too. So then, and one more note, if you have really severe gut issues or like histamine intolerance, sometimes you need to start with meat stock, which is basically bone broth that hasn't been cooked as long. It's only cooked for about 2 to 4 hours instead of being cooked for around 12 or 24 hours like bone broth. So some people need to start with meat stock. That's gonna be just as good if that's where you're at. Actually, bone broth is a little bit better. So when you're able to tolerate it, you do want to move to that. Okay, the 11th and last principle is emphasize nutrient-dense foods before and during pregnancy and for growing babies. So this one is it actually still ties to gut health because it ties to your children's gut health. So the healthier that you and your husband or wife are before you start having kids, the healthier your kids will be. So ideally, in a perfect world, you've been eating this way for your whole life. But if you haven't, it's good to eat this way for at least two, but like ideally like 3 years before you start trying to conceive. You really want to make sure, especially as a woman, that your nutrient stores are maxed out, because you're going to give about 10% of your nutrient stores to your growing baby. So you want to make sure you have enough for your baby and you have enough for you too. So this kind of diet is so amazing. You know, you're going to get these nutrients that are critical for building a healthy baby, for building every aspect of your baby. So it's going to be so important. And then when children eat this way too, it's giving their bodies the nutrients they need to develop in a good way. So this can even affect their facial development, which can affect how they breathe, which can affect so many things. So this is really, really important stuff. If you want to know more about what you can do to prepare to have a healthy pregnancy and to have healthy children, whether you're a man or a woman, because the man plays a big role too, because his health will determine the sperm quality, and you know, that's half of what's coming together to start the baby. So if you want to learn more about what both of you guys can do before starting a family, then I'll link a video up above where you can learn more about that. And yeah, that is the 11 principles. I'll just go over them again really quick. So principle 1 was avoid all refined and denatured foods. 2 was include animal foods. 3 is emphasize nutrient-dense foods like organ meats, animal fats, eggs, raw dairy, shellfish, fish liver oils, and fish eggs. 4 is eat some animal foods raw, cook most plant foods. 5 is enjoy lacto-fermented condiments and beverages. 6 is prepare seeds, grains, and nuts properly to minimize anti-nutrients and enhance digestibility. 7 is enjoy saturated fats, avoid industrial seed oils. 8 is consume animal foods from the land and sea to balance omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids. 9 is use unrefined salt liberally. 10 is include gelatinous bone broth in soups, stews, gravy, and sauces. 11 is emphasize nutrient-dense foods before and during pregnancy and for growing babies. So I hope you found that helpful. These are really awesome principles to base your diet around. It's just a good way to eat for the rest of your life, honestly. It's so helpful. It'll help you heal your gut, and it'll help you be the healthiest that you can possibly be. And if you want more help with this, if you want more help with how to implement a diet like this, how to personalize it for you, you know, maybe you have a lot of food sensitivities and some of these foods you're not sure if you can eat yet, or you want more guidance on exactly how much to eat, or you just want more guidance in general about healing your gut and, you know, making sure you have a great diet and really just healing your gut as fast as you can, then I would love to work with you. I offer a program called Ancestral Gut Healing. The reason is I help people to heal their chronic gut issues, and I use ancestral nutrition. I use these 11 principles when helping people to heal their gut. Your diet is such a massive part of healing your gut. It is not the only part. I have had clients that come to me with a very excellent diet. There's always a few tweaks you can make, but sometimes your issues can lie elsewhere. So I do cover more than just your diet. We go over your digestive health, your gut health, healing and sealing leaky gut, fixing your gut microbiome, stress levels, living a more ancestral lifestyle, getting outside, getting time in the sun, all that good stuff. So if you want more guidance on really understanding what's causing the root cause of your chronic gut issues, you want help setting up a diet that will help you to heal and will really nourish you for the rest of your life. So really learning how to eat in a way that best serves you, then yeah, my program would be a great fit for you. If you want to learn more about what that looks like and how I can help you, then be sure to book a call with me. I'll leave a link down below where you can book a call with me. And yeah, like I said, I can tell you more about what I offer with my program, and we can see if it's a good fit for you. So yeah, I would love to talk to you. And yeah, so if you want to check out a video that I have where I actually show you what I eat Actually, it's what my boyfriend and I both eat. So it's a whole grocery haul video of just a typical week of grocery shopping, what kind of foods I buy. I talk about each product, why I picked it, you know, a few of the things I look for when I'm looking for these foods, you know, with reading labels and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to see what like a week of ancestral eating looks like for two people, I'll link that video right there and you can check it out. And thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos on gut health and ancestral nutrition, be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.